Hello and thank you for watching my videos. Hopefully you're another CMDB administrator out there that's using BMC products and maybe struggling with what the quality of the product is. I am considering creating a defect series where just basically all the defects that BMC has in their places are kind of put on display because they're being ignored and they're causing confusion and delay. So for this particular defect, the CMDB job run failure information form refers to the wrong class ID. The failed CIs is showing as an IP endpoint, while the computer system CI instance ID is for a computer, not an IP endpoint. So I'm going to explain what that means here. If you're trying to find why something has failed to identify during a reconciliation identification activity, you can go into this form called Job Run Failure Information. CMDB Job Run Failure Information is available through the material. I'm using the user tool here just because that's the way I like to look at this data. The instance ID here points at something I would expect to be the BMC IP endpoint. And in fact, you can see that this ID here completely matches when I try to do a search here. But since it says IPEndPoint, I just like to look in this particular class. And the reason is, as I'll show later, is that the rule is specifically saying that this particular CI has failed to identify because the identification rule is wrong, okay, or it's finding too many matches. So, okay, when I go look for it, well, that failed the search. So I was like, okay, why is this missing? Why is it not here? How can it be reporting on a job that I just ran and that CI should be there, right? Because it just created this error message. Well, on a whim, I decided to take the instance ID and search in the base element class, and I found it under computer system, which shocked me at that point because this is actually a computer, not an IP endpoint. So imagine you're trying to fix a rule, and it's giving you the wrong message over here. So I'm going to show here why that is. So on my next slide, I want to show how do I usually run the duplication, or how do I fix these CIs. And the way I do this is I run a SQL query that tells me this is what has failed today. And in this case, I went to look for this particular instance ID by using the SQL query, and I found it with the following details. It shows that the error message here says we found multiple matches for class BMC core, BMC IP endpoint, and lookup dataset BMC asset. So the job run failure information, this particular recommended action field, says, we have found duplication of data based on the rule, and it shows the fields where it failed, which is SMS parent ID, SMS child ID, system name not being null, etc., etc. The rule itself is not all that important, although I do want to point out that the system name is referring to the host on which this IP address was found. So that means in order to fix this particular error, I need to go to the BMC IPEndPoint class, and as I was showing previously on my other slide here, there's a field that you would find the host of this IP endpoint should it be here. So when I went to find it, I didn't, it wasn't there. So I did a comparison here in the SQL query to show me the class ID for more than just one. I created a big report, and that report has maybe 70 different CIs that kind of fail this way. And I found that the class that's in the base element does not match the class ID in the CMDB job failure information form. So that is a problem because, well, I'm supposed to fix something, but if it's giving me the wrong reference here, I'm going to be chasing my tail, going around like a puppy. This is not something I want to do. I want to get this done fast. So in this SQL query, this completely incorrectly identifies the rule for the computer system. And you can see that here that this particular instance ID actually is in a BMC computer system. This is something that was recently modified, so therefore it should be reconciling. And it indeed actually has reconciled. So the reference to this instance ID is completely wrong. Right? You can see here that the mark is deleted. It's saying this is not a deleted CI. It was last scanned a couple months ago. And I don't know, it was just modified recently. So therefore, it needs to be reconciled with whatever new information has been added to this particular CI. But the SQL query tells me that this rule down here, SMS parent ID, again, this is the same message that I was getting in that other field, is giving me wrong information of how to fix it. Okay. Then there's one here on the bottom actually shows that the name is not null and name, in the target data set of BMC assets should be the same thing. But that is also not correct because I don't have any such rules. I don't have anything name equals name for computer system or IPEndPoint, just because those are not really reliable fields. So this is a BMC defect. I submitted this to them. We'll see how they handle it. But historically, they usually just tell me that they're going to file it and not fix it, right? So good luck if you're using this particular product and you run into this particular issue. Good luck trying to get a defect fix on this. All right, have a nice day. Maybe till next time.